morning. It's currently 10 a.m. July 2nd, 2026. Hope everybody had a great Canada Day. We had a relatively slow Canada Day. It was quite overcast, a little bit muggy. Kind of enjoyed the dogs and home, and later in the evening was able to go into Bridgetown, and we ended up catching the fireworks. Hats off to the people the volunteers and the effort that went on to put that show together, because that was one of the best fireworks that I've seen down around Annapolis or Bridgetown in a long time. I mean, normally it's just small town fireworks, but that one seemed to go. I actually checked my watch. I was kind of like, how long is this actually coming? And they seem to just progressively get better and better, like, and higher and higher and louder and louder. It was kind of nice. We got a little seat on the bridge in town. And we had a pretty good clear view of it. I'm glad that my wife thought of it and thought about giving the bridge a try. We actually sat right here, right on the crest of the middle, on the right side, and looked down to the left there, to the south, and watched them. And the river was just like glass, which was really nice. That means sometimes it can be what it can be, but last night it seemed to really everything kind of came together. There was not a lot of wind. A bit of cloud cover kind of rolled in the evening, a bit thicker than normal, quite gray, and provided kind of a nice backdrop. I had thought about filming the fireworks, but I didn't want to be kind of in everybody's. Bridgetown's a small spot, and I really didn't want to just have everything right in everybody's way. Kind of like to just let everybody enjoy the fireworks and enjoy Canada Day to their own, and I guess me as well. But it was very nice to have kind of a low-key day. Usually we spend it at the cottage, but this year we kind of switched it up, and it was kind of nice just staying home, and I don't know, in our own way. That was kind of, I guess, our little celebration, was just being able to appreciate what we've been able to, what the country has been able to give us. Today's a really nice day, and before the heat really sets in, I think caught myself speeding up there. Definitely don't want to do that. But yeah, it's supposed to get really humid and quite hot today, like 29 degrees Celsius, so I think that's like up in the 90 plus. I'm not too sure, but I know it's hot, and it's definitely hot for here, and it's going to be hot for our animals, so I think we're going to go out and try to let the dogs have some time swimming and try to keep them entertained but cooled. Try to keep them cooled down a bit, but before that I'm headed over to Port Lorne. Have a little fun on the beach, on the bay shore. Enjoy some of the rocks. Go for a little, not swim, but go for a little walk. And I've brought a little something with me. Most of you probably don't know, but I'm a RC enthusiast. I always have been my entire life. And I think you can blame it on my uncle and my father. My father, I remember him and his brother having... Dad mostly had the monster trucks and stuff. Really big tires. He had one called the Lunchbox. It was a van with great big massive tires. And my uncle, he had like these desert buggies, these dune desert buggies. One was the Hornet, another one was a leapfrog, was a frog. And it was just the names of the models, but and then like most people that are enthusiasts of it, they progressed into other areas of it. And for Dad, and my mother's brother, so on the other side of my family, my dad and him got into RC remote control boats. And what was going on back in the early 90s and late 80s was the hydroplanes and the really fast cigarette boats from down in Miami, where the racing circuit and stuff was really kind of just starting off and becoming a bigger thing. In the model circuit, the model companies and stuff had started picking up on that, and Dad and my uncle, they got into... My uncle really got into it. He built numerous really big builds. He built a couple helicopters and really big. He built a replica of my father's fishing boat, and just really nice models. He built a great big, it must be 4 feet long, big deep V cigarette hull racing boat with it's got a 11.5 cc engine on the back of it, nitro powered, so that's like a nitro fuel, so it's not electric, and they can be quite finicky. And Dad had a couple of them similar to that. And we had a little red and white one that I would run every now and then, called the Silver Bullet, and that had a smaller nitro engine on the back of it. So I was kind of introduced to the hobby really young. As a teenager, I kind of got out of it. You know, it was thought I was, I guess, too cool for school. But I feel like in kind of the mid '90s, it kind of went through, like, not much had progressed or changed with modeling and RC stuff. It kind of just got to where it was it mostly got to where it was the nitro powered stuff, and other than that was kind of it. It was kind of like a topping out of the brushed motors type thing. And I guess back in my 20s, I guess mid 20s and onward, I kind of got back into it, and then recently I've just kind of picked up a few more things. And I was usually just kind of, as far as my side of the hobby went, I usually stayed to just kind of the boats, the faster boats. And a couple years ago, 10 years ago, I had got a couple different boats, and they were all pretty sizable models. And one was a replica of a service ship for the oil rigs. So it had it's got a working crane on the back of it, and spotlights. It's about 4 feet long, a few feet high. That one I picked up from a gentleman down on the South Shore, down Wellington way, actually. He actually lived between Wellington and Hebron, just before Yarmouth. He lived on one of the lakes down there, right by a fish plant. And I believe he was a naval architect for AF Terrios. Don't quote me on that, but it was a beautiful model. And yeah, it kind of breaks my heart what ended up happening to that. And a ladder in my shop ended up falling and caused a lot of damage to it. So that kind of breaks my heart, but I used a lot of that model to construct a boat that I kind of used for the past few years, and I built that all myself. And it's a fiberglass hull, and it's kind of a big lobster boat. It's about 3.5 feet long, with the A-frame and the aerials on top of it and stuff. It's about 4 feet plus high. And it's fully RC, and the lights, it's got a full light package on it and everything, and I kind of pieced all that together. Like, I got my port and starboard and anchor lights and everything out of different units and different things that were no longer working, and I took the LEDs on the A-frame out of a couple different like backup lights, like trouble lights that you'd have for like power off situations, little LED packs and stuff. I kind of like that at the hobby. I kind of like that part of it almost the most, is rather than buying a bunch of stuff to pop up something or build something, is just kind of figuring it out, or trying to make yourself something. Or I guess nowadays a lot of it can be 3D printed if you wanted to, but kind of figuring something out, kind of jerry-rigging it, or kind of doing your own thing. Because at the end of the day, it's the kind of hobby where it's, as long as you're pleased and you're having fun with it at the end of the day and passing your time kind of constructively, then that's all that really counts. But it's fun to be able to take out and kind of go for a paddle in the canoe or in the kayak while you're at the lake, and take the boat with you, and now I've kind of got it. I've got the boat to where it actually runs on like 20-volt drill batteries, and it's got quite a bit of torque. And if I didn't want to paddle, I could just sit in the kayak and throw a line to the lobster boat and have my lobster boat kind of pull me around. So it's kind of funny that way. But today I'm kind of excited because I'm kind of getting back into the trucks, and funny enough, I've got my hand on I picked it up secondhand, and I've had to do a couple little things to it. The differentials and stuff were somewhat slipping. I put a couple shims in, hoping that fixed a little bit, but yeah, trying to go back out and see. I'm going to take it over to the rocks on the bay shore and see how it works. It's more of a rock crawler, and it's a replica of the Jeep, so kind of, I don't know, sometimes you got to be a little kid, and not everything's about speed. So while the tide's out and it's on its way back in, I kind of wanted to go over and have a little fun, enjoy the day in a little bit of a different way, because in not too long it's going to be very, very hot out in the Annapolis Valley. It's already, well, it's 25 degrees now at 10 a.m. and like I said, they want it 29, and with the humidex they want like 30, 35 plus. I don't even want to think what it's actually going to be. The sun rays are going to be absolutely atrocious because of the humidity and everything. And the bay is holding true to what it usually does. And on days like this, when it's going to be super humid, the Bay of Fundy will be just absolutely trapped with fog in it. As the morning dew and the humidity leaves the Annapolis Valley, the tide will pull it right over into the bay. Just the way that it shifts pressure and it all works. And if it's down in the Annapolis Basin or the Annapolis Gut, Digby Gut, or up around the Minus Basin, it'll pull it right out. It'll pull the fog right out and into the bay, and then through subsequent days it'll migrate down through on the tides and stuff like that, and it'll lift and come down with the heat. But this time of year, there's always, I'm not really surprised, and I'm kind of relieved, because it means that it's gonna be nice and cool down here, so I'll actually maybe have an enjoyable time. Because other times, the last couple times that I've gone out and ran this thing, it's been just super hot, because it's a rock crawler is what it is. It's not so much built for speed, but kind of more slow off-road technical driving, I guess. So it's a different kind of aspect once again of the RC hobby. Once again, just kind of gives you it's a chance to get you, let your mind escape and just be a kid again. And I love it, because pretty much every time that I get any of them out and kind of play around with them, I always end up thinking of my father and my uncles, and going to the lakes, or kind of ripping the little van and stuff around the backyard and stuff. It always it's that nostalgic thing for you. It scratches that itch. I think we can all, to some degree, understand and appreciate that. And some new poles going in. There you go. Happy Canada Day from Port Lorne. Yeah, it would have been nice for it to be a nice clear day. But also in comparison to other people, any other time, if you've watched other videos when I've come over to Port Lorne, this is just another aspect of the everyday life here. Sometimes you don't get that beautiful ocean view. It's just a thick gray blanket of fog. And for a minute, when I get down here and I shift perspective across and out across to the water for you, I want you to think of what it would be like to navigate a boat through here. To navigate a boat through the fog that's this thick. And this disorienting. As you can see how far down there to the rocks that you can see before it just goes to gray. It's kind of eerie. Sizable. Hey. Quite a decent little mock-up of a Wrangler head. I have this because I'm not going to do this with my white Jeep. take this one on rock crawls and deep dives. Anyway, as you can tell, it's going to be a slow but kind of fun little morning here for me, and I think I'm just going to pick a line through some of this and go for a little walk and have fun and enjoy the coolness of the fog. Until next time, thanks for joining me. Me and this bad little thing's gonna have some fun.